Anybody watching the Super Bowl next week?
I'll be watching
the Super Bowl.
It's the Super Bowl. I guess my question is, are we recording next week or not? I hadn't even thought about it.
I will probably be unavailable.
Everyone will be watching the Super Bowl.
Yeah, probably.
Probably. I don't know if I even care. Like, well, it's funny because I didn't really care about that Seahawks Green Bay game, and Michelle saw how I reacted to that because that was right before we recorded last week, and I was freaking the fuck out.
You were so excited. I was like, what?
I didn't even care about who.
It was a good game.
I didn't really care about who won. I kind of wanted the Seahawks to win, though. I don't know why. I don't have a problem with Green Bay. Green Bay's fine. But there was a part of me that wanted the Seahawks to win, and yeah, like right before I came upstairs to start the record last week, that was crazy. Like, that was a crazy game. I was freaking out. But yeah, the Super Bowl, I don't know.
I'm with you. I don't really care about either of these teams. I feel like we literally just had the Super Bowl, didn't we? I'm like, oh, we just had both of these guys.
Yeah.
I like football.
I'm tired of hearing about Deflategate. Like, I don't even.
That's what I really want to talk about. I think we should really delve into that.
You want to delve into Deflategate?
Yeah, absolutely. Just really just dissect everything that absolutely makes no difference and does not matter.
I don't even like New England. New England, I do hate. So in a sense, I do kind of care about this game because I really don't want New England to win. I don't even like them, and I still don't care about the whole this whole football air pressure thing. I just don't give a shit. I'm tired of hearing about it.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I'm just like I'm going because I have a place that I go and usually watch the football games. I really enjoy the commercials, so I'm all about that, and there are going to be probably some really good movie commercials, trailers and stuff like that they'll debut and stuff. So totally all in for that.
Yeah.
And the food. Come on. The food. Food really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you got a good group of friends to watch it with and some good food to nosh on, and I mean, it's fun, but I mean,
I don't care
know.
about
Nobody I know really cares about this game, so nobody's doing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone in Seattle cares. Everyone in Boston cares.
Yeah.
I don't really care. I might watch it. Maybe Michelle and I will just record.
We can have it on in the background and just pause for the commercials,
Super
and
Bowl
then when the game comes back on, we'll mute it while the game's on.
Yeah.
What time does it start?
I don't even know, honestly.
It was late last year, though, wasn't it? Like it wasn't like a normal.
I remember 3. That sounds about right.
I think it starts like 2 or 3, just because it gives everybody a chance. Like obviously the churchgoers or whatever, that people go to church, and then they decide to come out or go where they need to watch the game.
That was always so weird. Me getting used to that when I lived on the West Coast, like getting up and being able to watch football at like 10 in the morning. It's so odd.
It's awesome though.
3:30.
It's awesome, but for how early though, the worst was how early you had to get up to watch College Game Day. So I loved College Game Day, and that's crazy early because here it's at like 9 or 10, I think.
Some.
Yeah.
3:30 on Super Bowl Sunday the 1st.
3:30.
Okay. Yeah, it starts at 3:30.
All right.
But my cousins flip out too when they're like, oh, when we talk about football, it's like, oh, I got to go get ready for the 10 o'clock game or the 11 o'clock game or whatever. That he's like, what do you mean 10 o'clock game? Because that's what we do on the West Coast. You can wake up and literally there's football on.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's awesome, but it's crazy.
It's awesome.
The best part is though is you get those like later games and then you actually can like do things afterwards. Like we talked about like with the Oscars, you get to watch the Oscars and it's not like past your bedtime when it's over like it is here.
Yeah, like I take the day off after the Oscars because I'm gonna it's gonna run till midnight or 1 a.m. and then if I'm at my friend's house, which is an hour away, by the time I get back to my house and get settled and get into bed, I'm not waking up at 6:30.
No, I wouldn't either.
No, yeah. I'm too old for that now. I'm not. When I was younger, I was like, "Yeah, game on."
Just take a day off.
Now I'm like, I'm just taking the day off. It's cool. I'll sleep in.
I'm calling in Oscars.
Nice. Calling in Oscars.
Yeah, everyone gets that right. All right. Anyway, It is Sunday, January 25th, 2015. Let's get started. Hello and welcome everybody to Flicker Effect, a podcast where each week we chat about the latest happenings in film, TV, and pop culture. This is episode number 120. I'm David Lott. Joining me this week is Bobby Jackson.
Hello.
Jascha Wilson.
Hey.
And Michelle Curry.
Hello.
How's it going, everybody?
Greatness.
Welcome back. So, Sundance is going on, and I'm at home, and I'm depressed because I get to read all this stuff. It's about all these films that apparently are awesome or suck. And every year, I think, like I mentioned last week or a couple episodes ago, and I was like, one day, I'm going to do it. One day. We'll see. But anyway.
It's the dream. It's the dream to go to Sundance or at least some film festival at some point in time.
Yeah.
If you're into film.
I mean, sadly, we have the Florida Film Festival here in Orlando, and I've been. But do I go every year? No, I really should.
What's it called? I haven't heard of it.
The Florida Film Festival.
I thought it was had some specific
No,
name.
it's the Florida Film Festival.
It was like, the Florida.
That's
Film
it.
Festival.
that's it in and of itself.
That's it.
That's the one.
We even have one, like a little one at this theater, and that's near us on the west side of town. That's like, I think it's every year. It's a Labor Day weekend. So the past couple years, I'm like, oh, that's cool, but I'll be at Dragon Con. So you guys have fun with that. Anyway, so first, we like to talk about what we've been watching. Jascha, you got a chance to see American Sniper, which I've seen. I've talked about. Bobby has seen. I think he talked about it last weekend. I'm curious. What'd you think of it?
You know what? I liked it. When I step back and you look at it as a movie aspect, it is a very well done movie. It's quite sad, intense, and honestly a little depressing from how it ends of what happened to this man. But honestly, what I didn't like, not to get too political here, I wasn't a huge fan of how they vilified the Middle East. Like everybody there is really just, wrong, and they're, running around and killing these people. And, it just kind of begs to differ. It's like, what business, you have to ask the question, is like, what business do we really have being over there, being involved in the war and everything like that? But as far from a movie standpoint and Clint Eastwood directing and the writing and the acting, it was top notch. It was a good movie. Is it something that I could probably sit through like over and over again and really enjoy? No, because it's depressing as hell. But as far as me enjoying it, I was like, whoa. Like Bradley Cooper really showed his ass when he had his acting chops going, and it was intense. It was a good movie.
So American Sniper was nominated for Best Picture for an Academy Award. Do you agree? You think it should be a nominee? You think it's that good or no?
I don't think it was that good. I mean, well, I'm sorry for all the dead airspace, but I mean, it was good. Yeah, I guess it was. I guess, but I like Clint Eastwood and I like his movies, so it's like, yeah, I can see that.
All right. It sounds like we still all kind of agree. I think maybe you liked it a little more than I did, but.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Right on. What didn't you like about it?
I don't know. I felt like some things were kind of rushed through, especially with like the flashback backstory for the first like 30, 45 minutes, however long that was.
Yeah.
I mean, I understood like you don't want to sit there and dwell on his past too much because you kind of want to get back to the teased moment from the very beginning of the film.
Yeah, agreed.
So it's tough. Like, I get that you don't want to sit there and experience his whole life for an hour and a half before you get to him being at war, which is really what you're seeing the movie for, him being an actual sniper. But I don't know. There was something about the pacing of all of that. It just didn't work for me. And there was stuff in it that I felt like character development wise wasn't even necessary, and I don't know. I didn't. There's stuff about the plot and the pacing that I just thought was a little sloppy at times. I mean, I thought it was a good movie. I've actually watched it twice. I would recommend people see it. And I know, like you've even kind of talked about a little bit now, there's a lot of political talk about this film that's been going on for the past week or so since it came out, 2 weeks. But even that aside, I still recommend seeing it. I think it's good. I just didn't think it was that good. I thought it could have been so much better.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Like, actually, like you pointing that out, kind of makes me rethink it. When I look at some of the other nominees, I think there are other movies. Like, I think Birdman was better in the pacing and the direction of what they were doing with that movie. I also actually think The Grand Budapest Hotel was a better story in the grand scheme of things of like, you know, from telling and the directing of a story and whatnot and the pacing of that. So yeah, if you want to look at it like that, then yeah, I think those movies are probably better. Yeah. So I'm with you on this. I'm on the same page with you when it comes to like, do I think it should have been nominated? I mean, maybe, but is it really being nominated because it's, you know, that good, or is it being nominated because it came out so close to when Oscar season starts and the awards and all that other stuff, and people just love everything that Clint Eastwood does and they just ride his jock all the time?
Yeah, I mean, that might be a part of it, but it still made crazy money this weekend. Did you guys see that? Like, we talked.
No, I didn't see it this weekend, but I saw, like, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh yeah, no.
I was paying attention to like the opening weekend, and I was like, wait a minute, did that movie really just make $90 million an opening weekend? Yeah. Are you shitting me, man? Like, I was like, wow.
And even for its second weekend, it made over $64 million this weekend.
What?
Yeah. It's totaled 200.
God.
Jesus.
Again, it was in limited before that, but it didn't make much until, you know, it came out, you know, 2 weeks ago or whenever that was. But yeah. Mainly in 2 weeks, it's made almost $200 million. It's crazy,
man.
Yeah, so it was number one. Boy Next Door was behind it at number 2. It made $15 million. Paddington was number 3 in its second week at 12. The Wedding Ringer was at 4 with 11. The other new releases, Strange Magic, came in at number 7 with over 5 million. Mordecai came in at number 9 with over 4 million, which I don't think I've read a good review for it yet.
I have not heard one single positive response to Mordecai. It's like almost every single sentence is like, Mordecai was released and it was not good. That's how all the sentences start. Where everything that I've read, like the reviews for Mordecai are in, and they are not good. And you're just like, Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know who it was. I saw one article that was titled something along the lines of, "Is Mordecai the worst film for every one of those actors in it?" Like,
I saw that.
Is it the worst film for, you know, who's Olivia Munn and Gwyneth Paltrow, obviously Johnny Depp and Ewan McGregor? Yeah.
I mean, let's get something here. Like, I just want to say this just because it's my own personal grievance, I guess, hearing that and you throwing Olivia Munn's name out there. I do not think she is a headlining actress at all. Like, not even a little bit. Okay. Like, is she an okay actress? Yes. Is she very pretty? Absolutely. She's drop dead gorgeous, in my opinion. Do I think that she needs to be a headliner with Ewan? Who did you say? Ewan? Was it Ewan McGregor? No, it was it Jude Law?
No, Ewan McGregor, I think, is in it.
Ewan McGregor, Gwyneth Paltrow, Johnny Depp, all these people who have been nominated and or won an Oscar, and then Paul Bettany, who's awesome, and then you put Olivia Munn, and you're like, yeah, okay. And what's it say? Oliver Platt's in that movie too. That guy's the shit. I love Oliver Platt.
Yeah, who doesn't love Oliver, man?
Right.
Wow.
Like, I almost went to go see it, actually. Then things kind of came up, mainly my laziness. But
you rethought it. You're like, wait, what am I doing?
But I did want to give it a shot because to me it does look like a movie that is just funny and stupid, and just if you want something just to kind of be mindless for an hour and 45 minutes and just see something that's, you don't have to dissect. You don't have to go in and be like, I want this to be this to me. Like, it's just for fun, you know? And like, these are really excellent actors. For everybody to be like, it's the worst movie they've ever done. Well, at the same time, they read the script and they read it and they saw something that was humorous in it at some point, and they said, wow, that would be just a fun movie to do. They had to. At some point, they had to say, yeah, let's do it. It's fun. Sounds like it'd be a blast. Why not? Who cares? And that's what they did.
I'm on board with you. Like, I will probably at some point sooner or later take the time to watch this movie and develop my own opinion.
Right.
As of right now, though, I'm going with the critics, and I'm not dumping $6 at a movie theater, even if it is matinee. I just can't bring myself to do it right now.
Yeah, I understand.
Well, on the TV side of things, a new show debuted on Fox this week called Backstrom. I haven't seen it, but it looks like, Bobby, you and Michelle have seen it. What'd you guys think, Bobby? How was it?
Okay, so if you take Dwight Schrute from The Office and take away the filter that he has, what's left of it, and then you put him into the role of House from that show, and then you also combine it with Bones, then you have Backstrom. And if you like any of those things, then I think you would like Backstrom as well. For me, it was okay. And I'll probably give it a couple more episodes to check it out to see if it develops a little bit further. But for the most part, it was pretty standard procedural. And like I said, he's pretty much like House, and that he's very insulting, but he's good at what he does. And so you know that he's going to be able to figure something out. But same thing with House, you don't necessarily figure it out right away, and it gets towards the end of the episode that you figure it out. And it feels like it's sort of like Bones in the same sort of way that each episode is kind of separate from the other, and you can just jump in at any point in time and be able to be right along with the story. And maybe there might be something that develops later on throughout the series, but for now it just sort of seems like it'll be like an episode per episode villain of the week kind of thing. But it wasn't bad. It just doesn't stand out in terms of the pack of everything else that's out there that's really great right now.
Gotcha. What do you think, Michelle?
I agree with Bobby. I liked it. It was enjoyable. It's enjoyable enough that I want to give it, 2 more views. I've got a 3-episode rule, so I'll give it 2 more goes just to give it a final yay or nay. But yeah, I'm a sucker for characters that are very blunt and like that, like Sherlock Holmes is on Elementary and even in Sherlock. And I like just kind of the way House is. It comes off as mean, but he's just telling it like it is, and I kind of like those kind of characters. And I always like detective, murder, mystery kind of things. So I'm intrigued, and if they work really hard, it could really grow. But I don't know if it's gonna do as well as it maybe should do. I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna take time, I think.
Yeah.
I think one of the other things that sort of bothered me about it is they have a decent cast in terms of the people that are there. They seem like they're okay, but I guess the one person in there that I saw who I thought should have had sort of a bigger role was the guy who played the president on 24, Dennis Haysbert. And you've seen him in other stuff, but he's like that insurance guy who had the deep voice, the black guy. Yeah, there you go, Allstate guy.
Allstate.
And so he, to me, is like a guy you could literally lead his own series, let alone be sort of second or third character. And he seemed very underutilized in this, but it was only the first episode, so we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah,
Cool.
I think he plays like the unit chief, so he's kind of the guy in charge. So he's kind of the guy who says, "Yeah, if you got enough legs, you can run with it."
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see.
Cool. Bobby, you watched some other stuff. What else did you see this week?
Well, okay. I watched this show that's on Netflix right now that is originally from the BBC. It's called The Fall. And have you guys heard of it or anyone seen it?
I have not.
No.
Yeah.
Michelle? No? Okay, so the one person that you would know that's in it for sure is Gillian Anderson. And
I have heard of this one.
oh, okay. And it also has Jamie Dornan that's going to be in 50 Shades of Grey.
Mm-hmm.
And
Easy, girl.
I know. Well, I would be interested in hearing what you think about this series, because in this series he plays pretty much a serial killer by night, and by day he's kind of like this counselor. So it's sort of a weird sort of like Dexter thing, but except for this guy is not a good guy in any sort of way. He's not just taking out criminal people. He's, he preys on women, and he's not a good guy. So Gillian Anderson plays like this detective that's on this case, and she's really highly decorated, but she has her own personal problems as well. But throughout that, she's still trying to track down this killer that he plays, and it's pretty good. I've only seen so far the first 3 episodes. It's only, I believe, 5 episodes for the first season, and the second season just got released on Netflix, so it shouldn't be too hard of a thing to power through, but it's been pretty good so far. It's very suspenseful and compelling, and the characters are all sort of well done in a way that you definitely see they all have flaws, but they all have little shades of good in them as well, to where even with the main guy, as crazy and demented as he is, you find yourself at moments hoping that they don't catch him, which is so weird to say, but you kind of get this sense that you're almost slightly rooting for him because you're like, no, they're gonna find this and that, and because they show him a lot and he's almost pretty much the main character, so you develop something for him on some level, especially when you see him during his day job, and he has a family, so when you see him with his family and his kids, and you're just kind of like, man, he's not too bad. But then when you see what he does at night, it's like a whole nother world. So it's pretty crazy. And yeah, I think it's a good one. And I hadn't heard of it before until I was reading that the second season was starting and that he was in it. And so I was like, oh, well, let me check it out. And he's pretty good in this. He's a completely different character than what I've seen in the preview for 50 Shades of Grey. So this would, I think, give people a better look at what he can do or his range compared to just seeing 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, because until now, the only thing he's really done has been Once Upon a Time, and that was just for the first season. And then that was it. So you only saw a very little bit about what he can do, acting-wise, I mean.
Yeah, he's good in this.
Nice.
Cool.
What else have you been watching?
Yeah, so I checked out this other movie called Predestination, and that's with Ethan Hawke and Sarah Snook. And Ethan Hawke plays this character that's kind of like Time Cop. He goes through the past and tries to stop different things that have happened. And of course, whenever you have a movie about time, there's all these different rules and ways you have to go about it without trying to mess up the future timeline. And so in this particular instance, he's this seasoned time cop, so to speak, and he's on the case of this guy who's really been eluding him for most of his career, and he's got this one last time jump in him because you're not allowed to jump so many times or it'll mess things up to some degree, and they explain it in there. But so he kind of goes back and tries to recruit someone else to be also a temporal agent, as they call them, and you start to develop this story of this person that he's trying to groom to become another agent. And that's this Sarah Snook. And she is so good in this. I've never seen her in anything before, but she is really, really good. And I would hope to see her in more things to come because I just thought she just did a really good job. And I think that the story in and of itself, if you like time travel or sci-fi, it's really good. And it's got some things in there that'll kind of leave your mouth open. So I think it was a really good movie to check out. And I didn't get to see this in the theater, and I don't even know if it was in the theater, but it's available for you to see out there. So check it out.
Yeah, it looks like it's available on video on demand. I see it's available on Amazon Instant Video.
Okay.
I assume probably iTunes as well. And I guess it came out on January 9th.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good stuff.
And you also got a chance to see the new DC animated film, Justice League Throne of Atlantis. Mm-hmm. How was that?
I watched that too.
Oh, yeah?
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was good. I read those. It's another one, if anyone who's familiar with it, they started, I guess, maybe last year or the year before, doing animated features based off of the New 52. And with those movies, it's basically like they're the same superheroes, but their origins had been changed a little bit. So their mannerisms and the way that they talk and just act isn't quite like old school way. It's this new 52 way. And so if you've seen the Justice League first film that was with Darkseid, then you kind of understand what they're going for. It's a little more darker, a little more violent, more grown up. And this is still on the same level. And in this one, they introduced the character of Aquaman, and before he actually knew who he was. And in this, you see that the Justice League, since this is only their second film in this new universe, they aren't still considering themselves a team, and they're still trying to form that bond and be able to be on the same page with one another. And you get to see how the relationships are developing between them as a team and as individuals, and the things they're still trying to struggle with and go through. Since within that first movie, they were all just sort of getting their abilities, or they were just barely learning about other people that had abilities as well. And so this furthers that a little bit more and gets more into Aquaman's storyline and how he's his birthright is to be the king of Atlantis, and that's the main threat in this film is Atlantis, because they are trying to attack the surface world because of some transgressions that they perceive to have been done by the surface dwellers. So I thought it was really good. It was keeping in line with the New 52 books that I read. It obviously is sort of an amalgam of those things that got put together from the Justice League book and then the Aquaman book. And I thought it just did a pretty good job of telling that story in a streamlined way for people who obviously didn't read the comic.
What'd you think of it, Josh?
Well, Bobby pretty much summed it up, but I enjoyed it to an extent. I mean, Aquaman's not really my favorite character. I don't think really he's anybody's favorite character. That could be just my mistake, though. But I mean, for the most part, I really like the Disney movies that not Disney, DC, excuse me, DC release, especially the animated when it comes to the superheroes, because they really do get it right. Really make it all connect. They get all the characters right, their personalities right. It's good. It's a good time. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't read a lot of it. I read the first few issues of Aquaman when the New 52 started, and I was impressed. He's not a character I was ever a huge fan of, and I'd started to hear good things about the run he was having. I forget who was writing it at the New 52, and it was actually really good. So, yeah. It was one that I kept thinking I wanted to add to my pull list, and I never did. But I could still see going back and trying to read them.
Yeah, they really make Aquaman into a badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in the comic, it's slightly different, because in the comic, he's already sort of knows who he is, and he's been doing it for a little while. But in that comic, he plays into sort of what Jascha was saying about not being anyone's favorite character. They play into that in the comic to where it's more self-aware that Aquaman is kind of considered a joke and they don't really know what his purpose is and that he just talks to fish. But it plays into that in the comic book, but it builds upon it and shows you that he is sort of a badass in his own right. So it was a good series.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a good one. It's fun. If you're a DC fan, David, and you really like, all the DC characters. I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, if you like even remotely, even a little bit of the DC universe and they're what they're doing, then yeah, it's good.
Yeah. I still have to watch that trailer for Batman vs. Robin. I haven't watched that yet. I said I was going to do that. I completely forgot. Anyway.
Batman versus who?
The next animated film. I think it is next after Justice League Throne of Atlantis. Batman vs. Robin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that looks really good. Yeah. I like that.
Well, I watched a couple movies this week in the comfort of my own home. Thank you, day and date releases. Yeah, I watched two films that were both really character studies, I guess you could say. The first one I watched was Match, which I think released this weekend. It was also available on iTunes. I know it's available on Amazon too. It stars Patrick Stewart. He is a dance teacher at Juilliard. Also in the film are Carla Gugino and Matthew Lillard. They play a couple that comes to interview him in New York. She wants to talk to him about her dissertation, which is about choreography. And it becomes apparent pretty quickly that they have different plans in mind. It's hard to talk about anymore without part of me is it's not really spoilers, but kind of it is. It's easy to figure out what they're really doing. It's a little predictable in that sense, but that's not the point. It's not trying to be mysterious. But the film basically was really good. I was really impressed with it. It's based on a play that was done by Steven Belber, and he actually wrote and directed this film version as well. He previously directed Management, which had Jennifer Aniston in it. Came out in 2008. I never saw that. But most of this film, I honestly didn't even know going into it that it was based on a play, but I could tell because it's pretty much basically completely in his apartment. It's got a few other set pieces in it, but not much. It plays like a play. But Patrick Stewart's great in it, as usual. He's a great actor. It's still funny to, obviously everyone thinks about this and knows this, that, this guy's a great actor who is mainly known for being the captain of Starship Enterprise and being Professor X in X-Men. But He can do a lot more than that, and he's great in this. All the acting's great. It was a really enjoyable film. I highly recommend it. It was again available on iTunes. I say check it out. I enjoyed it.
I'm glad you said you saw that and you liked it, because I'd seen the trailer for that a while ago, and I was like, oh man, that could be really interesting and something different that you never get to see Patrick Stewart do. And
Yeah,
I mean, he does. I mean, like you said, he acts obviously, but like you always see him in the big blockbuster things, and it looked really good. So I'm glad you liked it.
yeah.
He also.
Oh, go ahead.
He also has a TV show coming out that's going to be on Stars, I believe, and it's with, I think, executive produced by Seth MacFarlane, and I think it's a comedy thing where he plays like this. I don't know, like a talk show host, but he's kind of like on the edge himself, and just probably that same type of Seth MacFarlane humor. You might see him in American Dad or whatever. He'd probably transfer some of that to this show, so that'd be something to catch him in too.
Yeah, is that a Blunt Talk?
Yeah.
Nice.
Let's not forget from him American Dad too.
That's true. I also watched a film called Appropriate Behavior, which is from writer-director Desiree Akhavan. She plays, and I assume she is, an Iranian American who is bisexual in the film, and she, of course, can't come out to her parents. And, of course, her girlfriend in the film is highly frustrated by that. Mainly the film is about her breaking up with her girlfriend, but also kind of looking back at that relationship as she tries to deal with it. If you've ever watched Girls, it feels a lot like Girls. And the funny thing is, she's actually going to be in Girls this coming season. I think the season just started a couple weeks ago. I haven't been watching lately, but I don't know if she's been on it yet, but she will be apparently in season 4. But it pretty much is like Girls, and it's not a bad film. I liked it, but it's the kind of movie that it's hard to recommend to people because you kind of have to be in the mood for this kind of thing. If you're in the mood for pure character study, then maybe you might dig it. But otherwise, it's definitely not about plot, not even a little bit. At least Match kind of was. This almost not at all. But it was enjoyable. You could tell that she definitely has a talent as a director and a writer. And I will be curious to see the things she does in the future. I think this one has its problems, but it overall it's still a good film. But I have a feeling she'll be making some stuff that's a lot better in the future. So I look forward to seeing what that'll be. But Appropriate Behavior, I think this actually premiered at Sundance last year, but it didn't actually get a release, I believe, until this weekend as well. And it went day and date, so it's also available on video on demand. So I kind of recommend it. Not as much as Match, but it was different, but it was good. Speaking of Sundance is going on.
Yeah.
There's been a few trailers that have come out of there. Really quick kind of teaser trailers. The first one, Knock Knock, I wanted to bring up, from Eli Roth. I don't know if all of you guys watched this or not, but I've been hearing decent things about it. Not like amazing things, but decent. And especially it's interesting because it's kind of different for Eli Roth. I think normally you think of Eli Roth and you think gore. Mm-hmm. And this looks like this is a scary film, but not because of gore and blood and guts. So what do you guys think of this? Bobby, did you watch the trailer?
Yeah, I got a chance to see it. And instantly it just caught me because of the scenario that was set up. I didn't know what type of movie it was until it starts out, and then it's like this thing where Keanu Reeves has this opportunity for a threesome, and that goes down, and then things get really crazy, and then Eli Roth's name pops up, and you're just like, ooh, okay, now things are really going to get interesting because you know what he does for most of his films. And like you said, this one doesn't particularly look like it's leaning towards gore, but it does have that lean towards that horrific kind of feel to it where things are going to go deadly wrong. And so I definitely look like I will be checking this one out when it comes out.
Yeah. What do you think of it, Michelle?
Yeah, I thought the same thing too. It's got Keanu Reeves, and I don't really know about the girls, but, one of the first things I said is like, oh, where's your wife? Oh, she's at the beach. Yeah. And I'm like, uh-huh. And then you kind of see, like, they get the throw down, life is all groovy, and then it's like, oh, directed by Eli Roth, and you're like, oh, oh, that could get interesting real fast. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it does kind of come up as a surprise, like Bobby, you said too. Like when you see that credit pop up, you don't necessarily so far in that trailer think, oh, this is an Eli Roth film. It doesn't look like that at all.
No. And then you're like, oh, so that's like the first 10 minutes of the movie. Great.
Yeah.
What happens next?
Right.
So yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested too. I think it looks different for Eli.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see if it's a big change for him, if he kind of going to go in a different direction from here on out. It really sucked for him with his last film that it sounds like it's never going to be seen by anyone.
Yeah.
Green Inferno. Is that what that was called, I think?
Yeah, I believe that's the name of it.
But this looks interesting. Jascha, did you watch the teaser?
I didn't watch the teaser, but I read about it before they released the teaser. They were talking about, I think I was reading something about Keanu Reeves, and they said, oh, he's going to be in Eli Roth's next movie, Knock Knock. And I was like, oh, that could be kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I just kind of left it at that. And it's kind of just, basically where I'm at. I haven't got a chance to watch the trailer yet, but I will probably as soon as we're done recording. But I'm definitely going to watch it because I'm on board. I kind of dig Eli Roth. Honestly, I could probably do without the gore, but I like his stories and I like where they go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like this will be perfect for you then, because it sounds like there is no gore in this from the reviews I've been seeing.
Sweet.
Also, out of Sundance, I can't remember if we talked about this or not. It Follows. I know we talked about it maybe at least off air. A trailer for it came out not long ago. I think it was actually in the top 10 show because I think I mentioned that it was a movie I'm really looking forward to this year. And the trailer just looks messed up. And it also showed at Sundance. And I know I saw at least one review. I think it was over at Slash Film that called it the scariest film they had seen in years. And it's basically seems like the premise is that this guy, I guess it's even maybe his girlfriend, he ties her up and pretty much hands off some type of being to her. He explains that this thing has always been following him and all you can do is hand it off to someone else. And he hands it off to her, and it seems like the kind of film that it's a matter of, is this for real happening or is it just a mind thing? But it looks messed up and it looks awesome. I can't wait. I'm really pumped about it. I also love the music in the trailer. The music in the trailer is fantastic.
Yeah.
But I've been hearing really great stuff out of Sundance, and that makes me feel even more excited about it. Again, I can't remember if we talked about this already, but what do you guys think of it, Michelle?
Yeah, you and I watched the trailer together one time. I think we both had already seen it once, and then we both watched it, and I think it looks awesome. Like you said, like it could be legit. There could be this real thing that stalks her or stalks people, or it could just be to screw with them. You never know, but yeah, it looked really good. Like, in the trailer, you see like there's a dude standing on the roof of his house watching her. She drives by, and you're like, "What the fuck is happening?" And somebody else runs down the street after her, and you're like, "What the hell?" Like, it looks neat. Like I'm down with it.
Do you guys watch it, Bobby? Did you see the teaser or trailer?
Yeah, I did see it, and you guys pretty much covered it all. Where it just looks like atmospheric. The way it's set up, it just looks like you're just going to get that creepy, tense feeling when you're watching it, and that's what I've been looking for in a horror film in a while. For me, it was like I know how much you love the Babadook, and like you said it, and pretty much anyone else has said, it's not that kind of horror movie. It's not the scary kind of thing that makes you jump out of your seat kind of thing, and this kind of looks like it could be that. And I'm hoping for something like that because it has been a while since I've seen something good on that level. So, yeah, this looks like it could be something very special.
Jascha, did you watch it?
I did. It looked creepy as hell. Like Bobby said, you guys pretty much covered everything. When I watched it, I was like, that's just messed up, man. Like I was just like, that's really all I could think of. And I was just like, yeah, I'm interested in seeing that. He looks crazy and different. And I'm all on board when it comes to something that's crazy and different.
The only other movie I wanted to bring up out of Sundance so far, I don't even remember how much longer Sundance goes on for. I forget how long it is. But another movie I've been hearing people raving about is Dope, which actually I think premiered last night. And I know as of this morning, I've heard that a lot of studios are already clamoring to pick it up. It's got a teaser trailer out too. It's also really short. It kind of you can't really figure out exactly what the hell's going on in the plot. It just looks kind of get a feel for the style of the film. But I've been hearing things like it's the best film so far at the festival, and it looks pretty interesting. Did you see this, Bobby?
Yeah, I caught it. It's really short. It's like 30 seconds or 32 seconds.
It's really short.
I don't know what's going on in it, to be honest. I mean, I can't really give you a really hard
it's tough.
Review on it because it's 32 seconds. It's cut really quick. You get a sense that he's just sort of like one of these things is not like the other. He's like this black kid that's sort of geeky growing up in Inglewood, but then all kinds of stuff happens really fast and you get the sort of typical look of gang violence and everything else. So it's hard to say really what's going on. And if people in Sundance seem to think it's something that to be on the lookout for when it comes out, then I'll definitely keep my eye on it. But from just the teaser, I don't see anything from it yet that gives me any type of inside making me think this is one I need to put on my list to go see.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the teaser's not much. Again, it's just kind of like a quick look at it. I don't remember who said it. I saw one review that kind of described it as it is like taking Go meets Boys in the Hood meets Superbad. So it definitely seems like it's got a lot of comedy in it.
Okay.
But it looks interesting.
I couldn't even tell there would be comedy in it from that.
It definitely, from everything I'm hearing, it's definitely a comedy. It seems to be the focus of the film. So, yeah, I assume probably you thought the same, Michelle. We talked about it a little bit. It's really, you can't tell much from it.
You can't. I mean, my first question was, okay, what is it about? Like, like I don't understand. And from the teaser trailer that's shown, my first thought was kind of like, oh, is it kind of like Boys in the Hood? Because, yeah, like Bobby just said, like, I never would have thought that there would have been comedy in it. So until you read that one little synopsis thing, it was like, oh, okay. I mean, it's intriguing. It has my interest peaked, but otherwise it's kind of like, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll just see.
Yeah. Did you watch it, Jascha, the teaser?
Yeah, I watched some of it before we started recording, and yeah, it's all over the place, and you know, like the narrative, and I'm just like, okay. And then it's just like, but less than a second of each scene that they have, is just like boom, 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 boom. So it looks like a night out adventure type of thing. But all it did was pique my curiosity because I want to know what the hell's going on. So I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Sweet. Well, moving on to some news. We found out this week some more cast members who will be appearing in X-Men Apocalypse. We know who will be Storm. It'll be Alexandra Shipp. We have our Jean Grey. That'll be Sophie Turner. And Cyclops will be played by Ty Sheridan. I'm only familiar with Sophie Turner. We, of course, all know her best, I'm assuming, from her role in Game of Thrones.
Sansa Stark.
As Sansa Stark. The other two actors I'm not familiar with at all. I think Ty Sheridan was in that film Mud. And Alexandra Shipp, I really don't remember much of anything she's been in, or at least I haven't seen any of her films.
You mean you didn't see Aaliyah?
I did
Queen,
not.
Princess of Hip Hop or whatever it was.
No, I didn't.
Oh man!
You trying to say I can't see films like that? What's up with that?
I'm saying you need to go do some homework. You got to go check that out so you can know who Alexander Shipp is.
It's just weird that you can continue your life and not have seen that movie.
I know. She is also, I think, coming up in the film about NWA this year. I think she's in that. But
it's a film about the NWA.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Not the NWA.
Not the NWA.
I think you're thinking of like the wrestling people, the New World, or what was
what
NWO?
Are you thinking of, Michelle?
But it's NWA as in the the group with an attitude.
Okay.
The group with an attitude.
Way to be PC, Bobby. Way to be PC, Bobby. The people of African descent that happen to have attitudes.
Yeah, that's a longer title. That was the original title they went with, but then they just decided to go gangster with it.
Nice.
Yeah, they shortened it out a little bit.
New topic.
That one. So yeah, she's in that. What do you guys think of this? I'll say first that I think Sophie Turner's a good pick for Jean Grey. So I'm excited about that.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
And, I'm just excited in general too to see her in something else other than Game of Thrones. I think she's great in that show, and I'm really curious to see what she's going to be like in this next upcoming season. Seems like her character will be changing quite a bit. But anyway, as terms of X-Men, I think she's going to be a great fit. But what do you guys think, Bobby?
Yeah, as soon as I saw Sophie Turner, I was like, awesome. That's great. And they could have stopped right there and I'd have just been happy. But then with Ty Sheridan, it's like, I seen Mud, and I remember him being one of the things that stood out for me in seeing that film. And it also was one that had sort of like the, I guess, resurgence of Matthew McConaughey as being able to have some acting chops, so to speak. And so seeing his name, I was like, okay. I mean, I literally in my mind can't picture him, how he'll look as Cyclops, but knowing his acting ability, I'm sure everything else will be just fine when they work that out. And Alexandra Shipp, I don't literally see her physically as Storm, but I'm sure Bryan Singer has something in his mind's eye and vision for her to have her looking that way. And honestly, I think she can't be nowhere near as bad as Halle Berry as Storm. So, I mean, you'd have to try really hard to be
How
that
dare
bad.
you, sir? How dare you, sir?
So, yeah.
So,
That's all I got. How dare
big
you?
fan. Yasha, you excited?
Oh yeah, man, totally. I thought the casting was, pretty good. I mean, like I'm actually with Bobby. It's like the girl that they cast as Storm here. I don't think they can make it any worse. It's kind of like a whatever type of situation. But as far as I feel about them looking like the characters, like Jean Grey was cast perfectly. Cyclops I thought was cast really well, and we'll see. I haven't really seen the girl that they cast as Storm, but I have seen Mud, and that kid did a good job. So I think they're on the right track with making some really good casting choices.
Michelle, what do you think?
I'm super boring, and I agree with all three of you.
Oh God!
But you know what?
Doesn't anybody disagree around here? Come on.
When you're right, you're right, man.
Yeah, I'm just following the group herd. But I'm actually really sad that Patrick Stewart's not going to be coming back, and neither is
Ian McKellen.
Like that bums me out.
Yeah, they're getting old.
They were going to be in it for 15 minutes. Like, let's be honest. If they were going to be in it, it was going to be short. So I was kind of like, really? They can't even make a quick cameo? Like nothing? Nada? I was kind of sad.
From a story standpoint, I don't know why they would be in it. That's the only thing. Like, if it happens organically, that's great, because the last movie it completely fit. But in this stage, or in Apocalypse, I don't know why they would be in there as the older Magneto and Professor X.
I don't know. It could start with the flash forward, and then they go back, or maybe at the end, it's like a 5-minute thing at the end. I don't know, I don't know, but it's just...
I mean, I get what you're saying in that I love those two actors. I love their portrayals of those two characters. Sure, they will be missed, but at the same time, I would hate for them to do more jumping around in time and...
Yeah, the time thing is kind of old.
Yeah, to put them in there would mean it would be unnecessary.
I know that.
I know
heart,
you know.
But I'm still sad.
Yeah, I get it because they're awesome. But
I'm an X-Men girl. Like, I'm really sad about that. Like, I'm like,
we have to move on.
But I get it. Like, I get it. I'm just voicing my bummed out feelings towards that.
Just get over it, all right?
I'm just trying to get it out.
It's not going to happen.
I know.
I think the day that they don't have Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, then that's when
why do you even mention this? Why are you even bringing that up? Don't even.
Because
what are you
I'm
doing?
trying to make you feel better about
You
not
need to be
seeing
prepared.
Patrick
This is
Stewart.
going to happen someday.
No, just stop.
So
you need to go ahead and get used to it.
Way better that Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart aren't in it, because at least you still get to see Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Why are you doing this to me?
It's you need to be prepared. It's going to happen. Granted, it's not going to be happening anytime soon. I mean, probably around the same time that they release a trailer for Batman vs. Superman. So you have lots of time to wait.
Bobby's trying to make me cry.
Yash is trying to get me going.
I know.
He's trying. I'm not taking any of the bait.
I heard that jab.
Yeah, that's cool. It's
All
cool.
right, next.
Hey, maybe I want to dwell on this subject.
You just want to see me cry. That's what it is. You want to see me get sad.
And not just you, but we'll all get to see it now. Cause
but you know what? When
go on to YouTube and watch Michelle cry.
Yeah.
if if Hugh Jackman is still lifting 400, 500 pounds, he's not stopping that role anytime soon.
Yeah, that was
Thanks,
nobody else
for the pity love.
saw that. Come on. Nobody else saw that. Like, I'm the only person that saw that. Like,
no,
really?
I saw that, dude. That was insane. It was all over like Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah,
that was baller, man.
Yeah, like if he's doing that, like you look at him, he's ripped, like way more in shape. I mean, he's not going to stop anytime soon. Like he is Wolverine. Like as long as they keep giving it to him, like balls out, man. Handle your shit.
Yeah.
Well, in more casting news or rumors, we talked about Tom Hardy leaving Suicide Squad last week. We talked about that. The studio apparently really wanted Jake Gyllenhaal. Well, word is anyway that that's not going to happen. It sounds like Jake Gyllenhaal has passed on the film. So, of course, rumors will help us, figure out what's going on anyway. It looks like the latest rumor is being thrown around is that Joel Edgerton or John Bernthal, is that how you say his last name, from Walking Dead. Oh. Maybe one of those two will play Rick Flag instead. If you could have either one, which should you guys pick? Michelle?
Probably the guy from Walking Dead.
Just because you're a Walking Dead fan?
Yeah, why not, man? I'm throwing it out there.
Makes sense. He worked with David Ayer on Fury.
Yeah.
So I could see that.
I could see it. Why not? Sure.
Bobby, any opinion, any care?
Yeah, I honestly, either one of those will be great. Because after seeing Joel a little bit more in some of the stuff that he's done recently, and even in the last movie with the God, what was it? The Moses movie? Oh, God, I can't even think of the name of that one. The Ridley Scott film. Help me out here.
Noah?
No. The Exodus, Gods and Kings.
Yes, that one.
Sorry.
Okay, so seeing him
You
playing
said
Ramses.
Jesus movie. I just went with it, okay?
I thought you said Moses.
Oh, you did say Moses. I'm sorry.
But
Moses
I
and
was
Jesus,
just
all the same
I was
to you.
just thinking biblical things. I was just thinking biblical. I was like, oh, whatever.
so he was like good as Ramses in that. So yeah, I mean, I'd be comfortable with either one. I guess if I lean towards someone, it would be John because of the reasons we said. Just him in The Walking Dead. And I think he kind of, this would be a nice little propel for him in his career to be able to be amongst these other big actors and being able to stand toe to toe with them and doing good scenery. I think it would also help get him put into other stuff as well. So yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him just slightly over Joel Edgerton.
John seems like he might be a better fit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Joel would be cool too, but John seems like it would maybe make more sense. And I bet that that's what would happen if either of these casting rumors are even true. But I think production starts in April, so they still got a little bit of time to fill a role. Mm-hmm. Jascha, any thoughts?
No, I like the John idea. I think he looks kind of like an asshole. And I mean, we're kind of all right. Let me rephrase that. Was really harsh. Like, in
case he listens, we don't think you're a dick, John.
Yeah, because he hears this and decides to come looking for me. Like, no. But no, like, watching him on Walking Dead. I mean, he was a jerk. He started to lose his mind. And if they can kind of keep that, I mean, he has that demeanor and he can get probably that physique that can really bulk up and be a really kind of a badass type of role. And I think he would, own the shit out of it. I think he would really just tear that role apart, and he'd be great. He'd be great in it.
Yeah, I agree. So we have a Supergirl now. Melissa Benoist, if I can get her name right. That. Yeah, we have a Supergirl on the CBS show. Not a Supergirl appearing in the DCU or DDCU or DCCU. I mean, anyway, yeah, on CBS we have a Supergirl. She's best known for her role on Glee. It's kind of like the second round of Glee, I guess, when some of the cast like went off to college and then they got new actors. About the time I stopped watching.
I was just about to say, show of hands, who actually watched Glee?
I saw like the first episode I think she was in, and that was it. She's also in Whiplash, that's in theaters right now. She plays Miles Teller's love interest, I guess you could say. Not really girlfriend, kind of. Spoiler alert. Yeah. So she's Supergirl. Not much to say about that. She looks like she'll probably be fine. Not really that familiar with her. She was good in Whiplash. She's not in it a lot.
No, she's not in too much.
No.
That's the only thing I remember seeing. I know she was in the Glee, but I don't remember her from that. I just do remember her from Whiplash and really taking a liking to her in that film. So I'd give that a shot to see how she'll do in this Supergirl role.
Yeah. Now, what about this Chiwetel Ejiofor Doctor Strange news? Or not really news. Again, this is kind of, I guess you could put this in rumor territory. Nothing has been signed or officially announced, but there's a few outlets out there reporting. I think it started with The Wrap that he is in final talks to appear in the film. Who would he be? Not that I would know, but for those who would know, who would he be? I wouldn't know either.
He would be, well, I guess if they don't change a character to make him be able to be portrayed by a black actor, then he just would, in a regular sense, he would just be Brother Voodoo, which is essentially like a Doctor Strange character, but he just practices voodoo. And I imagine since that character, I guess, originally came out in the 70s or whatever, they would probably just call him Voodoo for this film and not Brother Voodoo. So I think if he was going to portray anyone, it would probably be that character. Because at one point in time, he himself became the Sorcerer Supreme for a little while. And so he took on that role while Stephen Strange was not around. And I could see him, if they decided to put Chiwetel Ejiofor in that role, that could easily be setting him up for his own series of films as a spinoff from Doctor Strange at some point in time. So you don't get a Chiwetel Ejiofor just to sort of stand in and be there for a little bit. There's probably something planned in the works that they would want him for something more than just that one picture. So I think that's the best case scenario, is that he would be the character of Brother Voodoo.
All right. Good to know. I'm not familiar with Doctor Strange. Did the new comic come out yet?
No, and I imagine that we probably won't see a new Doctor Strange comic until either the later part of this year or beginning of next year, because they really like coinciding their movies and comics together. And we still have this super huge big event that's coming in Marvel Comics this summer that will change a lot of things anyway. And so we'll see the fallout from that and probably get some new comics and some other ones that will be completely different. And I imagine that at that point in time, we'll start hearing more about Doctor Strange as a comic.
Cool. Because I'm definitely interested in picking that up once something comes out. I mean, I know I could still go back and read some older stuff, and I should do that too, but I'd be curious to start with something that's new.
Yeah.
Not really much to talk about it, but I thought it was worth mentioning. I guess there's more rumors going around about who might direct Aquaman. I think it's Latino Review added to the possibility of, I guess they had already reported that Jeff Nichols might possibly direct it, who directed Mud. Yeah, I do remember hearing that earlier. Also recently added to a possibility list is No Murrow, who directed 300, Rise of an Empire. Oh. I guess that would kind of make sense, being a film that was produced by Zack Snyder. I could see that. But again, not really probably much to discuss there. I just thought it was worth bringing up. Moving on to more kind of casting rumor news. Tyrese Gibson. We all know who he is. Oh, I love the roll of the eyes from Michelle. He Instagrammed, I think it was. I don't think he tweeted it. I think he Instagrammed a photo that looked like it was fan art of him as Green Lantern. And I forget, I don't have it right in front of me. I forget exactly what he said, and that like something about like hearing about this like as a rumor or something. I don't know. Kind of like hinting at like, hey, this is probably happening or something. I don't know. Not a fan, Michelle.
No, I don't. Okay, I don't have anything against Tyrese Gibson, but yeah, no.
But what?
I don't know.
I'm not saying I'm like some huge Tyrese fan. I don't really care. But
I'm not like a major fan, but I also don't like hate the guy. But I'm kind of like, Fast and Furious, stay over there.
Fast and Furious over there.
You're good. You're fine.
Yeah, I mean,
Stick with what you know, baby.
I don't know that there's much to say about it because I think it's probably nothing.
Yeah.
You know,
that's his campaign, basically.
That's him wanting the role.
That's his campaign.
That's it right there.
And respect. I mean, because he's trying. I mean, look. I don't know how long they can keep going with the franchise, the Fast and the Furious. I mean, let's just be real. Like how much? I mean, people are still going to see it. Respect, because I mean, it's $1 billion franchise. But I mean, how much really longer can they really keep going with this? And this story-line. So I mean. He's got a campaign
baby,
for
FF12. We can make it.
we can
do
make it. But I mean, how honestly, how further can they really go with it? So it's like I wouldn't be surprised if he's trying to campaign to like try and get them thinking about maybe putting him in that role. Yeah. I mean, because that's a franchise. I mean, and especially if they do it well, that could be a franchise for him. For the next, he has a job essentially for the next 5 to 7 years. So, and if he, works the contract out and makes it well, I mean, he can end up making really good money, so he doesn't have to worry about anything else after that.
Yeah. Yeah. What he said in the underneath his picture on Instagram was rumor has it that. That's all he wrote. So.
Yeah.
Bobby,
is it a rumor?
Bobby, if you were going to be Green Lantern, would you be into that?
No, not really. Because, for a lot of different reasons. And one is just that I just don't think Tyrese would be good for that role, for one. Also, to me, it just sounds like he's just kind of taking a page out of Vin Diesel's book. Yeah. Because Vin's done that in the past where he's sort of campaigned for stuff or thrown stuff out there, whether it was in talks or true or not. He's always sort of put himself out front in terms of what he wants to happen. And, we got Groot, and there's that possibility that he might be in the Inhumans because he got Groot based off the fact that he wasn't even talking to Marvel about that. He was talking to him about something else. But the hype got so big that they felt like they should capitalize on it and put him in something sooner rather than later. And so that's how Groot came about. But there was also still that other thing that they were talking about that will still be in play at some point. And that's why everyone thinks it's the Inhumans. But as far as Tyrese, I just really don't see him as that character of Jon Stewart. And beyond that, I wouldn't even really... Okay, I guess I'll be fine with Jon Stewart being the Green Lantern, but I really would just rather see Hal Jordan and see that version done correctly as opposed to the way they portrayed it in the Ryan Reynolds version of the film. And so I don't know. I think I would rather see still Hal Jordan before I want to see Jon Stewart over that. But I guess if they felt like they need to diversify the cast, and they had to go with Jon Stewart, I think there's some people out there that could probably fill it a lot better than Tyrese.
Yeah,
I agree, Bobby.
I agree too. I mean, I was never saying I was a fan of the Tyrese Gibson idea.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think Idris Elba would be a good one.
Marvel's got him locked.
Yeah.
What's that?
He won't.
Marvel has him locked down because he's in Thor.
Yeah.
He's Heimdall.
I know, but he's voiced that he's not happy there.
Oh, really? I hadn't heard that.
No, that's drama, dude.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Oh, that was a big drama thing. Oh.
No.
How did you not hear that?
Because I know that I won't say anything about spoilers, but there's stuff with him still doing things there. So I hadn't heard anything about him not being happy.
Yeah.
Well, we're about to kind of shift out of. What I wanted to say first, real quick, before we move on, I would say I would bet. I know you want to see the Hal Jordan thing done again, but I'm going to bet that's not going to happen. I would almost guarantee it's probably going to be Jon Stewart.
I think it bombed so bad with Ryan that they're just going to jump right over that.
Because I think Zack Snyder has already kind of said he wanted to go the Jon Stewart route. So I'm going to guess that's probably what's going to happen. Though I agree with you. I think it would be nice to see Hal Jordan done correctly, but I don't think that's what we're going to see.
Yeah, that'll be disappointing.
Yeah.
Now, to kind of change gears a little bit, just because we're about to move on to different news, it's no longer comic book movie related. But before we leave the whole comic book realm, I'm curious. I forgot to ask earlier. if any of you guys caught up or watched Flash and Arrow this week.
I watched Flash.
You watch
I watched
Arrow?
both.
You watched Arrow, Bobby?
I watched both.
You watched both too? As much as I'm dying to talk about the ending, and I'm going to resist it just because it sucks, because now I'm actually caught up. And TV shows are so hard because, it's out there, but so many people watch them late, like me usually. So as much as I want to talk about the ending, I'll resist it. But I'm curious to ask you guys, what do you think about this whole Laurel Lance Black Canary thing? Bobby, are you like the idea? How do you think she's going to be in that role?
I think they have to tread lightly with it because they did such a poor job of her being a character early on that a lot of people don't like her character. For me, I mean, I'm kind of indifferent to her, which still isn't great. I mean, especially when you think of most of the characters on the show, you're probably in love with those characters and really want to see them developed out. Whereas with her, it's kind of like has such a reputation built up behind her that isn't great. And now if you see her in that role, then you're kind of like, well, I don't buy it, because a lot of the other characters have put themselves or have been put through the ringer so many times and gone through so much training to get to where they are. And to see her with very limited training to all of a sudden sort of be Black Canary, it just makes you roll your eyes even more so at the character. So I think they have to treat it in a way that makes sense, that they're not just sort of giving her that mantle just because she is that character in the comics, because they mishandled her so badly early on. If you just give the character those abilities and that costume, she's instantly compared to the other character that was doing it and doing it well. So it's going to be an uphill battle, and I think they're going to have to really try hard to win people over to seeing her as that character.
Any thoughts, Jascha? I'm curious what you think of.
You know what? I'm kind of on the same page with Bobby, like almost verbatim. I'm not a huge fan or sold on the idea of her just deciding to be this vigilante. I mean, as far I'm happy with the show and like kind of the direction they're going in, but I'm just not really thrilled about her role. But aside from that, I mean, I hate to say it because it sounds corny, but I'm really on the same page with Bobby, in agreement with everything that he just said.
Yeah, I mean, I agree too. I asked because I don't know what to think of it. Like, I'm not a huge fan of her character either, and I'm happy for her to have a bigger role in the show, but I don't know what to. I don't think. I have a hard time buying that she trained long enough to suddenly be such a kick-ass, Yeah,
badass.
And I don't know. I'm curious to see how it goes. I'll be very curious to see how the second half of the season develops and how she is in it, and among other things, I'm curious to see how they play out. But that especially is interesting to me, and I don't know what to think of it. I think it's a little bit of a funky move.
Hmm.
So anyway, I was just curious about that. And yeah, I'll ask you guys about the ending off air. But anyway, moving on.
Flash was good. Yeah, we both said the same thing.
Flash was good? Is that what you guys said?
Flash was awesome.
Yeah, Flash
Bobby
was good.
and I are on the same page. Flash was awesome. I really enjoyed that show, like to the point where I'm just looking forward to what they do every single week. I'm like, okay, what's happening now?
Right.
What are they going to throw at us now? And I think they're doing a great job with, a little bit of suspense, throwing in these subplots here and there, but still keeping the story moving forward. And everybody is progressing. I just hope that they can keep that momentum going.
And yeah, then I thought I was going to end up being behind a week on Agent Carter, and luckily I wasn't, because they didn't show one.
Yeah.
Yep.
What, because of the State of the Union?
Yeah,
I think?
State of the Union.
Yeah, that's why.
Gotcha. Kind of on comic news, I saw that there was an article this week in the LA Times about Comic-Con and their status in San Diego. I don't know if any of you guys saw this, but as we talked about, I think a few months back, the convention center there, it's a long, drawn-out story, but they were going to expand, and now they can't because they're having a hard time getting funding. So I think right now San Diego Comic-Con is only contracted there like 2 more years. I think through 2016. And the LA Times ran an article, I think, in their business section this week, kind of giving an update of what's going on. Basically, it looks like if you asked, people on the San Diego side, like the San Diego mayor and such, they are making it sound like they are hopeful that actually in the next couple months they will have a deal in place to keep Comic-Con there through 2018. Though a rep from Comic-Con even said that, they have been fielding offers from Anaheim and Los Angeles because apparently they do indeed want to stay in Southern California, meaning most likely Vegas, which I think is a city we had heard about before, probably wouldn't happen. But it sounds like they're fielding offers from Anaheim and LA. It seems like that's a distinct possibility. It's interesting looking at like the pros and cons of each city. Anaheim looks like they have already more, I think, bigger convention space, and they're expanding apparently right now to even make it bigger than it already is. They also have, I think, more hotel rooms that are in walking distance than San Diego does. LA, on the other hand, they've got convention space, and I guess it's near what's it called, LA Live.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
But they don't have the hotel rooms. It sounds like, at least in walking distance, they only have like half the amount of hotel rooms that San Diego has. But it'll be interesting to see how it plays out in the next couple months if we get at least a decision on how it's going to be for at least like through 2018. Would you guys be really bummed if it left San Diego?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry.
Bobby, would you?
I get conflicted on it, to be honest. I mean, I love that it's in San Diego and just the atmosphere and being able to be downtown in the Gaslamp district, to be able to be in that community of people, and it just transforms during that time of the year. And it's a special place to be. It just is really so great. But on the other side of that, for there to be the opportunity for more people to be able to go and experience it, and for it to be in a bigger space to see more things and not have to wait overnight to get into a room, man, that would be so nice. And it's just a hard thing to try and really suss out. I mean, San Diego has been promising for years to expand that convention center, and it's just been lip service. They keep saying the same thing about building a stadium for the Chargers, and it's like they're just trying to bide their time, and I don't know what for if they're not really doing anything. The people don't want to pay for this stuff, and the city doesn't want to have to pay for it themselves. So it's just kind of been like this thing that's stuck in limbo for both of those things, and something's got to give at some point in time. And I'm going to be mad if I don't get to go to Comic-Con this year because I can't get a ticket. And the reason I can't get a ticket is because San Diego has not expanded their center like they said that they would. And so if that's the reason, then I would rather it move so I can at least go than for it to stay and just sit here at home being able to look at it and read it on the internet like everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm torn too. I love it in San Diego. But of course, this is like, I mean, I've been lucky enough to be able to go the past, 3 years? Mm-hmm. And, this year it's kind of looking like you and I are somewhat on the line of, the pre-registration, it didn't go great. And if we don't get a badge during regular registration, we may be screwed. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, I want more people to go too, but man, I don't know. I really like it in San Diego. Are you going to try to go to this year, Michelle? I know you've talked about it. I'd
really like to go. I don't know if I'm going to be able to or not, but I mean, yeah, I would love to go. I've been wanting to go for years. It's been each year it gets more frustrating being at home and seeing things on internet and seeing things on Instagram, and even with you, like you're taking photos, and I'm like, oh, damn you, Dave. I
recommend.
I would like to go experience it one time.
My recommendation is, no matter what, just go ahead and get a member ID on the site and try to get a badge, and let that be the way you decide. If you're able to get a badge, figure out a way to go. Yeah, because it's tough, and if you're able to get one, then I think you should take advantage of the situation and make it happen. And I think if that happens, you'll make it happen. And I mean, there's definitely ways to go. Like I know. We live farther away. We got to fly, but there's ways to stay there cheap. I know, like we stayed at a hotel room with a few of us in the room, and that wasn't too bad. Me and Bobby and a couple friends, and even that, I've talked to people who have done like a hostel thing there before and stuff like that. It's definitely doable, but I recommend at least like trying to get a badge and see what happens. If you get a badge, then do it.
Yeah.
Because you should do it at least once, and then once you do it once, you'll probably do it again.
Right, I'm sure.
Yeah. Because I mean, even as I'm looking at this article, and it's got like slideshow in here, this article like of pictures from the show, and I'm like clicking through it, and I'm like, damn it, fuck, I may not be there this year, and it makes me so depressed. But
the only consolation for me is that WonderCon is still decently easy to get into, and that happens in Anaheim, and it's been getting bigger every year. So I'm sure it'll increase this year as well, and maybe offer more things to see in terms of panels and different types of sneak peeks and previews and stuff. And plus, I still go for the comic stuff too. So there's definitely a lot of that present at the WonderCon convention. So there is that, but nothing beats being able to go to the big one of the year, which is in San Diego.
Yeah, there's nothing like it. I mean, I've been to a couple of the conventions that are pretty good too, including the one we got here in Orlando. It's getting big, at least in terms of attendance. But it's definitely no San Diego Comic-Con. Anyway, moving on. We heard some news this week about Star Trek 3. Simon Pegg apparently is a co-writer. I didn't really read much about it. Did you guys like any details about what's going on there?
There wasn't much other than what you said, is that he's planning to be a co-writer on it. And I'm still not sure how I feel about it, to be honest. Yeah. I like him a lot, and great. I like what he's in, and I even like the stuff that he has written in the past. It's just that something about Star Trek, I don't know. And it's the weirdest thing, too, because I honestly could see him doing well in writing a Star Wars spinoff more so than I could see him writing a Star Trek proper film. I don't know why, but I know that like when I used to watch the show that he had called Space, that you could see so many different visual references to Star Wars, and even in the dialogue there was those references. And so to me, he always feels like he's been closer to the Star Wars property than he has been the Star Trek. And so I think it feels like it'd be more foreign to me that he would try his hand at it. And he may do a good job, but I still haven't quite warmed to the idea of it yet.
Yeah, I guess I haven't really thought about it much. I mean, I like Simon Pegg too. I don't know what his writing is like, but he'd be good.
I mean, I like Shaun of the Dead, and I like Hot Fuzz. Not so much the last one though, but it was okay. It was good. I mean, it wasn't horrible. Anyways, but so I think, I don't know. I'm slowly warming up to it because I'm thinking like as far as like jokes go and kind of like the way he can make, like he could really write some really awesome stuff for Bones, I think. I don't know why I feel that way, but I'm like, oh, he could really give Bones some good jokes. I don't know. I think for the haha funny comedy part of it, he could do really good stuff. Mm-hmm. So that could be good.
Cool. I heard a rumor this week about one of these Star Wars spinoffs. This time again, from Latino Review, saying that we might get not only Boba Fett in it or Han Solo, but we might get both. I don't know what to think about the spinoffs anymore. We've heard so many things and so little information. And I don't know that I've actually said it on here. I know, Bobby, I've talked to you about it. But the whole Han Solo idea bugs me. I really don't want to see that. I don't even really want to see him in a spinoff unless it's Harrison Ford. Like the idea of doing another actor as a younger Han Solo and doing some type of origin story, or just him doing some other mission when he was, before whatever film. Just the idea of a different actor playing that role. It's just, I just have no interest in that whatsoever. I like Han Solo the way he is, and you know what? I know he'll appear in these new films, or at least in the first one, and he's older now, and it's not going to be the same, and that's fine. Because I've got the 3 films he was in, and I don't need any more than that. I don't want to see some other guy try to play Han Solo. It's just, I'd rather see something else. Like it just.
I couldn't agree with you more, David. I'm right there with you. And honestly, I know we are supposed to pay attention and read these news and articles and things like that. I literally have stopped reading everything that happened about Star Wars. Like I might read the headline, but honestly, every single week they do a weekly report, and it's just like I don't need that much of an update all the time. I would really like to see the movie kind of fresh-eyed, Yeah. I want to see the trailer. I'll watch the trailer probably a couple of times because I watched the teaser a couple of times because I was excited. But do I need to have like a play-by-play breakdown every week of like so Harrison Ford stubbed his toe, so he was out, and and all this other shit. And I'm like, come on! And I don't need an origin story. I don't need to know how he met Chewie. I don't need to know how he met Boba Fett or Jabba the Hutt. I don't need that shit. I just leave it as it is and just move forward. That's fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Any thoughts, Bobby?
You guys covered it.
Yeah.
It's not that he's a bad character to delve into. It's just that Harrison Ford is so iconic that you just feel like anything that somebody else would be and put into his shoes, you're just going to be comparing the whole time, and you're just going to be looking to see if he can do it like the same mannerisms and be able to maybe portray that character in a way that makes sense. But just ultimately, even beyond that, it's just I don't feel like he's a necessary character to delve into the background of. I think what you see of him is all you need of him. You don't need to know more about him from that standpoint, because he's interesting enough as he is. And whereas there's definitely many, many more pockets of that universe that can be explored and fleshed out more.
Yeah. Any thoughts, Michelle?
No, I think I agree with you guys again. Hey. Yeah, no, you totally said it. It's, yeah, moving on.
No thoughts. Well, one last thing I just wanted to mention. If anybody out there has been looking to see any of the Best Picture films, and maybe they're not playing in your area, or there's just a bunch you've missed and you don't know how you're going to get a chance to watch them all, you might be pleased to know that AMC is going to be hosting a Best Picture nominee marathon on 2 different Saturdays, it looks like. Saturday, February 14th and Saturday, February 21st. Between those 2 days, you get to see all 8 nominees. Looks like Grand Budapest Hotel, Whiplash, Birdman, and Selma will be that first Saturday. And then the second Saturday will be Boyhood, The Theory of Everything, The Imitation Game, and American Sniper. And I'm sure if you buy a ticket to see the entire run, it's probably like at a discounted price, as opposed to paying for individual tickets. But it sounds like you could go to the individual movies if you want to. I'm not really sure about the details. But go check out at amctheaters.com if you're curious. I know I still have to see, a few of those. I still have to see Selma, An Imitation Game. Actually, that's it. That's all I haven't seen. I'm doing pretty well this year.
Man.
Good job, buddy.
bad.
Look at you go.
He's catching up on TV.
Man,
He's on fire.
it's crazy.
David's on fire.
Don't
Yeah,
get,
so-
don't get used to it.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's still some things I know he's definitely behind on.
Well,
Still
I
got
know.
time, but yeah.
You talking about Agents?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, he caught up on Flash. He caught up on Arrow. Give him his dues.
Oh, I tell him all the time that at least I know he's caught up on those, and it's just that last one really, because
Yeah.
that was the thing. And he was like, "Oh, I'll be caught up before it comes back," and it comes back in March, and it's almost going to be February.
Sneak it up quick, man. Sneak it up quick.
I got a lot of catching up to do. So yeah, I know my time's running out. I was trying to look up a date real quick of exactly what day it's coming back because I'm curious.
Yeah,
But,
I'm not sure either. I think
I'm going to keep
maybe-
just bantering here as I try to look it up. Looks like March 3rd.
I was going
was
to say
gonna-
it's probably early March.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it's supposed to flow pretty evenly right after Agent Carter, and then
yeah.
they'll pick right back up. 'Cause she was the filler.
So yeah, looks like March 3rd is the day after Shocks.
Wow. So you pretty much got a month to come after next week.
Yeah,
totally do it.
Oh, it's totally doable. I mean, it's definitely can be done. It's just a matter of me doing it. I got, what have I watched now? I think I've watched through 6 or 7, something like that.
In the first season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Whoa. Slow down, Michelle. Second season. What's that? No, I'll get there. And then, man, like I saw like a teaser for The Strain the other day. Fuck, I haven't even finished that first season. I'm like, damn it.
Wait, David, you haven't finished the first season of The Strain?
No, I know. It's so good, and I haven't finished it.
You make me sad, David.
I should.
You make me sad.
I know.
Especially when I don't. There's those pockets of time that you tend to have at work where you could catch something.
I can't catch up at work, man. I can catch up at home.
All right, real quick. This is a funny like story. I was doing Christmas shopping,
and
I was looking at DVDs, and I'm not kidding. This mom and her daughter, older daughter, she was probably like 23, 24, and the mom, they were sitting there shopping and they're looking at stuff, and I overheard them say something about movies and vampires and like kind of horror movies and like just some, and I just stopped and I was like, I don't mean to interrupt. I know this is a little weird, but have you seen this? And I held up the strain because they had it on DVD, and she was like, "Oh my God, no! Is it any good?" I said, "It is fantastic." Blah blah blah, and I started going off about it and how how dark it was and this and that. Daughter was like, "Oh, that's it. I'm buying it, watching it right now." And so she's probably finished it now, and you were probably still not yet.
How old was this daughter?
No, she was like 24, 25.
Oh, okay.
So
Sorry, I didn't catch that if you said that.
I did, but that's cool.
I
you don't listen to me frequently.
No,
so
I suck. Sorry. All I caught was daughter, and I'm thinking like teenager or something. Or
yeah, she's 14, and I told her to watch this really horrific.
There's this 12-year-old out with her mom.
Yeah.
Hey,
she's 9.
I've got a show for you.
Thought they were looking at Frozen stuff, and I was like, "Hey, if you like Frozen, you're definitely going to vibe on this."
Yes,
the story about a monster that decides to eat people in New York City. It kind of runs the same breath as Frozen because it's cold, but aside from that, you're just really going to vibe on it. It's awesome.
Just buy it. Just do it.
Nice.
Do it. Definitely watch it before you go to bed.
Just shut up and let them take your money. Just go.
Hey, did you mention the good news about the Duplass brothers?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
I guess the Duplass brothers signed a 4-picture deal with Netflix.
Yay!
I don't know details behind it. It sounds like they'll also get like short theatrical releases, these films, but then they'll immediately go to Netflix. Speaking of which, I was surprised to see the interview, I guess, is already on Netflix.
Yeah,
It
they
is.
just came out. Yeah.
That was quick.
Have you guys watched the Duplass
Or
brothers?
late.
Or late, yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess so. I was gonna say, is anybody watching the HBO show that they're doing, Togetherness?
Yeah, did I talk about? I thought I mentioned it, but yeah, I checked out the first episode. I need to catch up on the second one.
The
and
second
I think
one's
the third
good.
one is tonight, right?
Yeah, the third one's tonight. You got to watch the second one. The second one is so good.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so happy that the movie, the one I love, introduced me to these guys. Like, I love their stuff. Like, I love it now. Like, I'm totally in. I'm like, yeah, Duplass Brothers. Let's do it. Like, I'm all over it. Like, I'm so excited. Like, when I heard the Netflix thing for the 4 movies, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. Like, I get so excited.
Nice.
That's good stuff.
They're excellent writers. I love it.
Yeah, and if you ever have a chance, you're probably not into football much, but it's not specifically about football, but the league is also really good. It's just their type of humor and that raunchiness, and it's funny. It's good stuff.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
I've heard lots of good things of it.
Next year's going to be the last season for the league.
Yep. So I definitely can't wait to see how they wrap that up because it's been a good series.
Yeah, it's a series that it doesn't really need to end.
No, not really. It literally could be like, I guess how Always Sunny in Philadelphia is. I mean, I think that show's on its 10th season or something, and it literally could have gone like that. Just kept going because it doesn't need to end really.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if we'll record next weekend, but Project Almanac comes out next weekend. You guys interested in seeing that? I don't think we've talked about it on here.
We did once a long time ago when the trailer came out, and I was interested, and I still am because, like I mentioned at the top of the show, time travel movies and things of that nature, I'm always interested in seeing how they exactly portray it and the rules of that film or TV series and how they handle time travel. So I want to see how this one turns out because it looks interesting still to me from even seeing the initial trailer and seeing the extra trailers that they put out since then.
Yeah. I'm curious to see it. I think it looks really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can watch that.
Yeah. The other big releases that weekend are Black or White or The Loft, which I remember seeing a trailer for The Loft. It looks interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good word. Interesting.
Interesting, The Loft. But yeah. I don't know if we'll be recording next weekend, but I'm going to try to at least see Project Almanac, and I'll talk about it the next podcast, at least whenever that may be. But yeah, I think it's probably about time for us to get out of here. As usual, we'd like to know what you thought of the podcast, everything we talked about today. You can let us know by emailing us at feedback@flickereffect.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Google+, Twitter, and YouTube. You can find links to those accounts on our website over on the right-hand side. I'm David Lott.
I'm Bobby Jackson.
I'm Jascha Wilson.
I'm Michelle Curry.
Thanks for listening.